In this video, I'm going to discuss an important topic for YouTube content creators, that is about the copyright law relating to YouTube. So I'll be discussing these topics. What is copyright? YouTube's copyright system. What to do if you get a copyright strike? Doctrine of fair use. Common copyright mistakes on YouTube. And finally, some tips for protecting your YouTube content. Let us first see what is copyright. Copyright gives creators of original material legal control over their work to protect it from unauthorized duplication, distribution, or other use. Some examples of copyrighted material includes songs, movie scenes, video clips, artworks, and music tracks. So when you upload a video to YouTube, you have to ensure that it is your original work, and if not, you have to get the license or permission from the original creator. But in some situations, you may be able to use original content without the permission of the creator. That is if it falls under the doctrine of fair use or the fair use exception. This we will discuss in detail later on. So what is the YouTube's copyright system? You may have heard of content ID claims in YouTube. So YouTube has its automated system that scans videos for copyrighted material and matches it against its database. If a match is found, the video receives a content ID claim. Content ID claims may not be negatively affecting your channel, but if your channel is monetized, the copyright owners might claim all the ad revenue that you get from that particular video. And in addition to content ID claims, we have other types of copyright claims as well. For example, manual claims. This is when a copyright owner manually asserts their rights on your video using the manual claiming tool. Unlike the content ID claims, which are automated and based on YouTube's system detecting matches, manual claims are initiated by a copyright owner who manually reviews your video and identifies that you have used copyrighted material without their permission. So this may not affect the video visibility in the platform unless there is a takedown request by the copyright holder. But generally, just like in content ID claims, copyright owners can take the ad revenue or block the monetization altogether. Next, we also have copyright strikes. This is when a copyright owner submits a legal copyright removal request, also known as Digital Millennium Copyright Act takedown notice, for using their copyright protected content. So this is a more serious action than the content ID claims or the manual claims, because this is a formal takedown request against your video. So when such a request is submitted, YouTube will review it, and if the request is valid, they may remove the video from the platform. Also, it is important to know about the YouTube's 3-strike policy and its impact on creators. The first time you get a copyright strike, you need to go through the copyright school, which helps the creators understand the copyright principles and how they are enforced on YouTube. You can get more information on YouTube copyright policies by watching the video that I have linked in the description box. And if you get a second strike, it will increase the risk of penalties, including monetization loss. And if you get a third strike within 90 days of the first strike, your channel and all the associated accounts can be terminated. So this happens only if you get 3 strikes within a period of 90 days. So what to do if you get a copyright strike? There are 3 options that you can follow. Firstly, you have to wait for 90 days for the copyright strike to expire. That doesn't mean that you can't post any content, but you have to avoid using any copyrighted material during those 90 days in order to avoid a second and a third strike. And also you can ask the copyright owner to retract their claim. If the copyright owner agrees to retract their claim, your copyright strike will also be retracted. Thirdly, you can file a counter notification. So if you think the video was taken down by mistake or your use of the copyrighted material qualifies as fair use, you can file a counter notification to dispute the copyright strike. So what is fair use? Let us look at that now. So doctrine of fair use is a legal doctrine that allows the use of copyright protected material under certain circumstances without permission from the copyright holder. And this is especially where the purpose for which the copyrighted material used is transformative, educational, or it doesn't harm the original work's market. Some examples of fair use includes works of commentary or criticisms, as criticisms are mostly transformative. They will analyze, interpret, and critique the original material rather than reproducing it, so it can be considered as fair use. And for teaching purposes, you can use copyrighted material without express permission, and for news reporting, and also for parody. Parody is where you imitate the elements of another's work in a humorous way, and it rarely has the ability to be a substitute for the original material. Therefore, it can be considered as fair use. So the international rules about copyright exceptions or what falls under fair use is often similar. There can be differences from country to country. However, remember that fair use is a legal defense and not a guarantee. So, for example, if you use copyrighted material for purposes of parody, it could be considered as fair use in most of the situations. But in a particular situation, if the content that is created in a humorous way by imitating the original work, if it becomes a substitute for the original work, that would not fall under fair use. So then it could be a copyright violation. So it's always better to get legal advice from an expert before uploading videos that use copyright protected material. These are common copyright mistakes that we commit on YouTube. Firstly, using copyrighted music without a license, even if it is just background music that you use, if you're not licensed, then it could be considered as a copyright violation. And also, some creators think that by editing the music, as in slowing down the music or speeding it up, you can avoid copyright claims. But that is not true. Such edited work is considered as derivative work, and that is still covered under copyright violations. Also, not monetizing your video is not an excuse to avoid a copyright claim. Whether you have monetized your video or not, if you use copyrighted material without express permission, that would be a copyright violation. And lastly, attribution does not absolve a copyright violation. That means if a creator states that all rights belong to respective owners, that will not itself absolve you of copyright violations. So attribution is not sufficient when you're using copyrighted material. So these are some tips that you can use to avoid copyright issues. Using royalty-free or Creative Commons licensed content, especially if you are using music, you have public domains such as Free Music Archive, Free Stock Music, and Creator Mix. And also you have the YouTube audio library where you can download free music. And the best way is to create your original music and visuals, which could be time consuming and difficult, but you can definitely avoid copyright claims by that. Also, carefully read the YouTube's copyright policies and guidelines before you start uploading videos. And if you have got the license for some copyrighted material, read your licensed agreements properly, because even if you get the permission to use it, you may be required to fulfill certain conditions such as crediting the original creator. And if you fail to do that, you will still be committing a copyright violation. So I hope this video will help you to avoid your YouTube videos being taken down for copyright infringements. And if you want to know more about such topics, please subscribe and keep in touch. Thank you.